The dinner rush at the small roadside cafe had just begun when Aisha wiped her hands on her apron and forced a tired smile across her face. The neon sign outside flickered against the rain-soaked pavement, and inside, the scent of coffee and fried bread filled the air. She had been on her feet since sunrise, balancing trays, calming impatient customers, and silently calculating how much of her tip money would go toward her mother's medicine. Life had never been easy, but Aisha carried her burdens quietly, like a soldier who had long ago accepted that survival meant sacrifice. She believed in hard work, in kindness, and in the simple idea that if you did good, somehow, someday, good would return to you. She just didn't know that someday was about to arrive in the most unexpected way. The cafe door burst open, and 2 paramedics rushed in, their uniforms soaked from the storm. Behind them, through the glass, Aisha saw flashing ambulance lights painting the night in red and blue. "Is there anyone here with O-negative blood?" one of the paramedics shouted, his voice urgent, cutting through the clatter of dishes. "We have a critical patient. Massive blood loss. The hospital blood bank is low due to the accident pile-up on the highway." The cafe fell silent. Customers looked at each other, hesitant, avoiding eye contact. Aisha felt her heart pound. She knew her blood type. O-negative. The universal donor. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of the decision. She thought about her shift, her responsibilities, her exhausted body. Then she thought about someone fighting for their life just minutes away. Without waiting for applause or approval, she stepped forward. "I'm O-negative," she said softly. "Take me." The ride to the hospital was a blur of sirens and flashing lights. Rain streaked the ambulance windows as Aisha clutched the side rail, whispering a quiet prayer for the stranger she had never met. Inside the emergency room, chaos ruled. Doctors shouted instructions, nurses moved swiftly, and machines beeped in desperate rhythm. Through a crack in the swinging doors, she caught a glimpse of the patient on the operating table, a tall man in his mid-30s, pale and unconscious, his clothes cut open, blood staining the sheets beneath him. His face, though bruised, carried an unmistakable strength. He looked like someone used to command, someone important. But to Aisha, he was simply a human life hanging by a thread. The nurse guided her to a chair, efficiently preparing the equipment. "You're brave," the nurse said, securing the needle into Aisha's arm. Not many people stepped forward so quickly. Aisha managed a faint smile. "I just did what anyone should do." But deep down, she knew that wasn't true. Many had stayed silent. Many had looked away. The blood flowed steadily from her vein into the collection bag, dark red and powerful, a silent promise of hope. She felt slightly dizzy but remained calm. On the other side of the wall, surgeons fought to stabilize the men whose life now depended, in part, on her quiet courage. Hours later, the surgery was declared a success. The doctors had managed to stop the internal bleeding. The transfusion had been critical. Aisha, pale but stable, refused to give her name beyond the required hospital form. She didn't want recognition. She didn't want reward. She simply asked, "Will he live?" When the nurse nodded, relief flooded her tired face. She slipped out of the hospital before dawn, returning to the cafe just in time to finish her shift. The world outside remained the same, cars honking, customers complaining, bills piling up, but something inside her felt lighter. She had saved a life. That was enough. What Aisha didn't know was that the man she had helped save was Aram Malik, one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country. CEO of a powerful tech empire, his face had appeared on magazine covers and business news channels countless times. The accident had nearly ended not only his life but the future of thousands of employees depending on him. When Aram regained consciousness days later, the first thing he asked was, "Who donated the blood?" The hospital administration hesitated, respecting privacy laws. But Aram was not a man accustomed to unanswered questions. With calm determination, he insisted. "Someone gave me another chance. I need to thank her." It took weeks of quiet investigation. Security footage, donor records, witness accounts from the cafe. And then one evening, as Aisha carried a tray of tea to a corner booth, the cafe door opened again. This time, no sirens. No storm. Just a sleek black car parked outside and a man in a tailored suit stepping in. The cafe owner straightened nervously. Aisha looked up, and froze. It was him. The man from the hospital bed. Now standing tall, alive, and radiating quiet authority. Aram's eyes found hers instantly, as if he had memorized her face from a photograph. He walked toward her, each step deliberate. The cafe seemed to disappear into silence. "You saved my life," he said, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. Aisha felt her cheeks flush. "Anyone would have done the same," she replied softly. He shook his head. "No. They didn't. You did." He placed a small velvet box on the table between them. The entire cafe watched, breathless. Aisha's heart pounded louder than the clinking cups around her. "When I was unconscious," Aram continued, "I don't remember much. But I was told someone gave me blood without hesitation. A stranger who asked for nothing in return. In my world, everything has a price. But you reminded me that humanity still exists." He opened the box. Inside was not just a diamond ring, but a symbol of something deeper, a promise, an invitation, a life completely different from the one she had known. "I don't believe in coincidences," Aram said quietly. "I believe some people are sent into our lives for a reason. I don't want to repay you with money or gifts. I want to know you. To build something real. A future. With you." Gasps filled the cafe. Aisha's mind raced. She thought about her struggles, her responsibilities, her humble life. She thought about the risk of stepping into a world so far removed from her own. But she also saw sincerity in his eyes, a man changed by vulnerability, humbled by survival. Tears welled in her eyes, not because of the wealth he represented, but because of the respect in his voice. He wasn't offering charity. He was offering partnership. "I don't need a billionaire," she whispered. "I need someone who values kindness." Aram smiled. "Then we're already on the same page." Slowly, with trembling fingers, she accepted the ring, not as a fairy tale prize, but as the beginning of a journey neither of them had planned. The cafe erupted into applause. The rain began again outside, but this time, it felt like a blessing instead of a storm. Aisha had given blood expecting nothing. But life, in its mysterious way, had returned her courage with love, respect, and opportunity. Her story reminds us that one act of kindness can rewrite destiny. If this chapter moved your heart, imagine what more stories of hope and transformation await. Subscribe to the channel, join this journey of powerful stories, and never miss a reminder that even the smallest act of bravery can change everything.